Three, two, one, and we are rocking and rolling. Dan McNab, how you doing?
I'm good, mate. Normal
Thanks,
days.
thanks for agreeing to chat to me today. It is an absolute pleasure. We've kind of known each other on off for about 20 years, I think. You probably remember me when I was like loudmouth little shit when I was like 12 or something, I expect.
I think maybe it was even longer when you were wrestling your brother
Yeah.
in your front room.
Yeah. So I would have been about 8 or 9 years old then. And obviously,
Yeah.
so that was a long time ago. We're looking like 22, 23, 24 years. And your life has gone in an extremely interesting direction since then.
Yeah, it had some up and downs.
Like, do you actually mind when I edit this video, if at this point in the edit, do you mind if I just take some photos from your Instagram and put them on the screen so people can see actually just like what you look like?
No, that's fine. You can do that.
Okay, so anyone listening to this now, this is the time to pick up your phone or open your eyes, look at your computer screen. This is various photos of Dan, who is obviously absolutely fucking massive. Like, at what point did you decide? Let's go all the way back. At what point did you decide to undergo the journey from normal human being to elite level, absolutely massive, incredible Hulk style bodybuilder? Because you've got to be like the biggest guy in Bristol. Are you the biggest guy in Bristol? I don't even know, but you've got.
Well, I hope so. I hope so.
Because I was watching you.
If there is anyone bigger, I haven't seen them in Bristol.
Right. Because I was watching your YouTube video earlier when you won what I guess is, am I right in saying that's like, this is the peak of your career so far, the NABBA Class 1 Mr. Universe competition?
That was probably my biggest like win. I'd won the British Class 1 and overall the year before.
Yeah.
So that was quite a big deal for me. The bodybuilding kind of community has different federations, just like with fighting and everything. It's the universe was run by a federation called NABBA, and NABBA has an amateur league and a professional league. So I became professional at the universe, and then came fourth in the professional universe as well, which I wasn't really expecting to place that well in that show. So that was a kind of an added bonus. It was a very long day because there's like 3 shows in one to be done when you go through that sort of journey. So by the end, if anyone saw the video of the professional, I was fucked. I didn't really at that point care. I've never felt worse after a show than that show. It was, there's no glitz and glamour in these bodybuilding shows. It's you led on a bin bag, in a hallway, basically. Trying not to die. And
hey mate, I was a pro wrestler for 7 years, going and performing in sort of obviously, as you know, town halls and nightclubs and all that. And I don't think anyone seriously thinks that the British wrestling scene does have any glitz and glamour, but I certainly understand how it feels to work your ass at something from years on end, and then the peak of your career, it really isn't kind of it's certainly not your name in bright lights like you think it might be.
It's not how people think that it's going to be on Instagram,
right.
The highlights and stuff. And, for those who are aspiring bodybuilders and I didn't go in and straight win anything. If you're not placing high, your time on stage after months, potentially 4 months of preparation and, all the years before that, your time on stage is 30 seconds.
Right. And I think that's the important thing to note, which is because you played it down a little bit then, you made a joke out of it. You say you were lying on a bin bag and you kind of didn't care. But this was the culmination of years and years and years of hard work, right?
Decade.
A decade of hard work. And presumably this journey isn't over. You're still kind of on this journey now. I'm sure lockdowns messed it up a little bit, but presumably there's more to come as well.
Yeah, I'm going to compete this year. My missus is also competing as well. She did her first show last year. I mean, she wouldn't say lucky, but I wanted her to make sure that when she was ready to compete, she was really ready. So there was quite a lot of brutal honesty involved in that. She needed to enter at quite a high level and she waited, she was patient, and she did, and she won the first timers and her class, and
Wow.
then narrowly missed out on her IFBB Pro League, which is the Premier League of bodybuilding, by 1 point. So when her first show, she almost cleaned up the whole of my journey.
Yeah, but I guess you didn't have the equivalent of you. Like, I bet if you'd had some female bodybuilding girlfriend for a decade who had already done it and been there and done that, then she might have been able to guide you. Presumably, you've been a great help to your girlfriend through that process,
Well, I
right?
think I was being like a bit of an asshole because um, because she represented me,
Right.
you know,
Right.
and my work ethic, and we trained like together. Sometimes we train less together now because we argue.
So there's a
But at the
bit of a
beginning,
Miyagi Karate Kid thing going on
yes,
there. You sort of taught her the ways, and then she excelled her teacher.
yeah. Well, she did. She, yeah. I mean, you know, for a super heavyweight bodybuilder, you know, reaching professional level is it's just the amount of time it takes to accumulate that sort of tissue. You know, like off-season weight. When I'm at my heaviest, I'm over 22 stone.
Mm.
You know, 310 pound, walking around huffing and puffing. It doesn't come, you know, with any like good thing. That there's no health benefits to what we're doing. We look like we're like the pinnacle of health, like a statue, but we're fucked, really. Like,
Well, this is something I wanted to ask you. Like, what are the health? I mean, so weightlifting for an average person is good for you. Exercise for an average person is good for you. I mean, I've had some experience lifting weights. I lifted weights for a couple of years when I was wrestling quite solidly and put on about 1.5 stone, 2 stones. So
yeah.
I've got more experience than no one. Obviously, nothing compared to yourself, but weightlifting, I think, at the level that I was doing it for those couple of years was good for me. I felt healthy. I felt strong. At what point does it become like, what is the threshold where that changes, and what would you think the negative health benefits are?
I mean, professional bodybuilding, you know, and I won't go into too much detail, but it's steroids.
Mm.
So there's you know, obviously there's huge health benefits, downside, sorry, to using steroids. And I think a lot of people quite blindly go into those sorts of things. And actually, steroid use for your average gym goer is disgusting. You know, I think that these kids, and I get a lot of messages on Instagram saying, oh, I'm going to join the gym. Like, what steroids do I need? You know, that sort of thing. You need to be putting in 5 years of like graft, finding out where your genetic potential lies, and then consider like these sorts of things. No one thinks, well, you can damage, you know, your hormones to a level where you'll have to use hormone replacement therapy after 30, like forever. You know, no one explained that sort of stuff. That information is out there. But then I remember being young once as well, and I wouldn't have listened to anyone saying doing 3 grams of coke on a night out was bad. So why the fuck
Right.
would I have listened to anyone else? So it's all very well me sitting here as a 36-year-old man, you know, telling everyone to be sensible. I wasn't fucking sensible when I was young. So, but I think really people shouldn't be messing around with those sorts of things unless you're considering competing. The payoff isn't there, and a lot of looking good, you know, beach ready and all that sort of stuff is completely attainable, you know, naturally.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
No,
within your genetic capabilities. Obviously, some people are genetically advanced, and some people aren't. And I think if you just want to look good on the beach for the girls or whatever, I think it's a fucking ridiculous thing to put your health on the line for that.
So
You know,
steroids
just
should be
for,
like the
you know,
final 10% of the journey. Like, if you do
just
every other thing, then maybe then consider topping it up with steroids. Like,
yeah.
if
I mean,
you've done everything else.
if you want to get girls, just pretend to be rich. You know?
More effective.
Yeah, just repost your one holiday you've had this 10 years on your Instagram like every day.
You know what? When I was thinking about this conversation, so I did actually think about holidays and beaches and swimming pools, and it occurred to me like, what if you're on holiday, you're at the beach somewhere, and there's all these normal folk, all these normal sized people milling around on their sun loungers, jumping in and out of the pool, and you emerge. Do you presumably everyone must just be staring at you constantly? Is that something that you enjoy, or do you find it awkward, or is it somewhere in the middle?
Well, I think that you'd be a cunt to get annoyed about something like this. You know, you purposefully went for an extreme thing, and some people look at it and think it's really extreme, because it is. Some people get annoyed about it, but it's my fault. I haven't lost an arm or something, like it's, people are going to stare. It depends where you go. 'Cause, like, when I went to LA and stuff, like, it's normal, like, massive people are everywhere. But if I go to, like, Spain or something, then, kids will come and laugh at you, and stuff. So, but I mean, we haven't gone on many holidays recently because, like, because we have competitions to do, and so it does play a huge part. I mean, obviously, we've been in lockdown for, like, what feels like forever. I mean, it's been, it's coming up to 2 summers worth. Anyway, so I don't go on holiday that much. So I'm safe, but I'm also like, if I'm not on holiday, I'm not a wear a V-neck kind of guy. I wear baggy stuff. I like to just look like a happy fat man. And as well, most of the year,
you're not wear a V-neck guy. Here I am. You're like 4 times the size of me, and I'm rocking my V-neck.
Well, I mean, fashion's never been. When you get to a certain size, you look stupid and everything anyway. So, like, there's no point me trying to do fashion. I can't buy anything, like, in a shop anyway. So I have sponsors that send me stuff for big people.
What's it like being, like, as big as you are? Because I was thinking about this earlier. We're 2 men. We're both in our 30s. We both have many of the similar experiences of life. The ups, the downs, the confident moments, the insecure moments, the dreams and the ambitions. But in many ways, we're inhabiting entirely different worlds, because I am what one would call a small man, and you're what one would call a big man. But I think you're kind of like, you're beyond a big man. You're obviously just like next level, very rare. You said just then that, like, you usually just wear big baggy clothes. Do you think that people notice when you're walking around? Like, do you think, obviously, if you were to wear like a t-shirt or a vest, people would just be staring more, but do you think that you actually manage to hide it and that you look like a jolly fat man?
Just look like a jolly fat man, hopefully. That's what I'm going for. I mean, I'm a lecturer at college, so I'm not trying to have conversations about that in my class. I'm not trying to have conversations about that. I will talk to them about, because the gym's quite popular, and give, after
you give your students advice? Because I'd love to get onto that, like the contrast between being just a sort of like blood, sweat, tears, guts, pain, like screaming in the gym, absolutely killing yourself, contrasted with, like, I guess what must be a more gentle, compassionate side of your personality. Is that like a conscious thing that you decided that, like, you have to sort of tick both boxes of who you are?
Yeah, I mean, you wear different hats. I mean, at one point I was doing bodybuilding and I was being, a nightclub bouncer, and at that time, when I was paying for some of my education, or when I was doing my PGCE, I working on the doors and stuff, I was working with, like, disability support. So, it was a completely different hat. You work in nightclub security, and people try and shoot me and stab me and like all that sort of stuff. And you have to just leave that in the weekend, and turn up for work and be ready to hopefully make positive changes to young people's lives, which isn't always possible. And, but that's the aim. That's why I wanted to be a teacher, because, I wanted to become
you're a music teacher, right? Just to clarify, you teach music, right?
Technology teacher. So I don't teach people to play music. I teach, like, sound science, and production techniques, recording. Think of me as Dr. Dre, but a bit pale.
Big Pale Nasty. I was going to ask you about that. Your nickname is Big Pale Nasty. That's your YouTube channel. That's your Instagram page. Where does the nickname Big Pale Nasty come from?
Well, it was a friend of mine called James Grealish who basically coined the phrase. And I thought, he's probably going to make it stick anyway, so I can either embrace it and brand it, or I can say that I hate it and get it anyway. So I just thought, well, I'll embrace it. And quite a few people in bodybuilding don't actually know my name. They just
they just know you as Big Pale Nasty.
That's it. Yeah.
That's
so when I've done podcasts before, they've had to go, well, this is Dan. People probably know him as Big Pale Nasty. So I ran with it. I mean, it fed in quite well, because another a guy who's my coach, and a good friend of mine called Alf Bales, who runs they call it Team Nasty, and or they call it Team Nasty because they're all from North. And they and so it fits in quite well with their ethos and their training philosophies that I share.
Do
But you
you
were asking about the beginning.
Yeah, we've gone around the shops a little bit, but like I'm really interested in, first of all, the beginning, and then secondly the mindset. So let's stay focused on those two topics for just a minute. Like, if you could tell me what inspired you to begin, and how long did it take before you realized that you were on an extremely long and committed lifelong journey, I guess. Like, what was those early stages like?
I mean, I never looked at anything and was like, yeah, I want to be a bodybuilder. Never. Like, I never, that was never like a thing. It's something I didn't see something and go, yeah, this is for me. It was an evolutionary kind of situation that was started off where, when I was young, I was a bit of a naughty boy, as I'm sure you remember. And I was on tag at one point, and I was sat home bored or whatever, just smoking weed and just not really doing anything.
How old were you at this point?
Probably 20, 21.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe 21. Okay.
So at this point, you're 21 years old. You haven't found anything really in your life to sustain you in a meaningful way. Nothing to sort of orient yourself towards. You're just a young man.
I like to tear up.
Naughty boy at school.
Left school at 14 with no GCSEs.
Right.
Went after I'd gone to a special school, like a special unit school, where they locked the classrooms and stuff. I was destined for something shit.
Okay, so there you are. We've set the scene. This is where. And how big were you at that point? Like, I can't really remember.
I was about 12 stone at 6'2", I think.
Okay, so you were skinny.
I was skinny, yeah, because I didn't eat.
Right.
I didn't eat.
Okay.
I've never really been into food, which is actually probably useful like now, because food is just fuel. But that's how my parents saw it as well. They were both pro musicians, and so if mum was around in the evenings, just put the food down, said eat what you want, leave what you don't want, don't tell me, and she'd go and do her gigs. Because that's how she made her money, and that's how my dad made her money. Through the beginning of my childhood, it changed a little bit later. My mum became a teacher as well, actually.
Okay.
So food was never really a thing, and I didn't really care much for it.
That's interesting, because now we'll get onto that, but food is obviously a pretty big part of it, but we'll leave that to one side for now. So we've set the scene. You're 21 years old. You're not sure where you're going, and then what happens?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a click thing. Basically, my friend Felix just came and was like, he was at an interesting time in his life, and he just brought a bench press over and was like, hey, in the evenings you're here anyway, like, why don't you lift some stuff? And I was like, oh, that sounds shit. Anyway, but he would come over religiously, and we would lift stuff. We didn't eat anything, whatever. Felix really liked cheese. We weren't serious. We just thought we'd lift some stuff, just something to do. And I got strong in the bedroom very quickly. Strong in the bedroom.
But you had that was where your bench was, in the bedroom. Yeah.
In the bedroom. Okay. So we did other stuff as well, but we certainly weren't training legs or anything.
Right. So it all goes back to Felix in that sense, because you often hear that people that go on like incredible journeys of dedicating their life to something, often it's just kind of arbitrary. They just fall into it. Like, who knows, if Felix hadn't set that bench up, like, you might have gone down a completely different route.
Yeah, I don't think I would have found it another way. I mean, maybe I would, but whatever. I mean, it's quite a strange story. Felix actually was bipolar and later killed himself.
Oh shit! That's devastating. Sorry to hear that.
And so I feel like I kind of carry on the legacy, and really what Felix gave me the bench, but actually the gift was so much more.
Yeah.
The gift was actually my ability to structure my life later. Into something that could fit into normal society, that helped me sleep, formulate my day and give me something to live for. Sometimes when things get hard, you have to keep everything just in the day. And having that weight session at the end of the day broke up my day enough to have at least one thing a day to look forward to, especially when you're on tag. People don't come round when you're on those sorts of things. Your friends drop off, they're doing other stuff, and that's not their fault. In the end, actually, my girlfriend of 6 years decided that she was not going to hang around either. So a lot of stuff kind of broke down, and I just put all of that energy into picking stuff up and putting it down.
Yeah. I
You know,
think that's the story that so many people, so many people that become world class in their profession or their industry channel that energy. And this is a thing that's interesting, actually. When I think about people that succeed at a very high level, I think there's kind of two types of people. Well, there's many, of course, but if we were to make a rough grouping, I would say that you have some people who are so full of themselves, so sure of themselves, and have such a sort of high self-esteem that they expect to be successful. And then they put the work in, and because they already have that sort of positive personality disposition, that sense of groundedness, that self-belief, it kind of just happens for them. So some people have it easy. But then on the flip side, I think you've got some people that come from a more difficult background that maybe have more internal demons or more insecurities or whatever it may be. And then they get a bit of a chip on their shoulder, maybe get a bit frustrated, and then they want to prove something to the world and to themselves. I don't know, like, where you feel like you fall on that spectrum, if you fall on it at all.
I've spoken to hundreds of bodybuilders. I have a podcast as well, and I've also been on other podcasts in the UK. And most, I'd say 95, if not more, bodybuilders need the gym. It's not, I want to look a certain way. They needed an outlet for energy that was turning on them negatively. You know, the devil makes work for idle hands. And most of the successful bodybuilders that survive through the hard bits of training, the stuff that you look at and you go like, why are you doing that? It's a need, you know. They're pushing what's inside outside, so it doesn't turn in. And I'd say that's like literally 95% of people. It's very, very rare that people just like enjoy it. Not enjoy it, everyone enjoys it, but you know, that in the kind of the different way that you said, that's very sure. Usually that's because of a huge genetic advantage, that they're able to see those rewards from a want rather than a need. Mate, like, I never started training to look a certain way. I started training because it made me feel better.
Yeah.
And just for that hour or whatever, and still now, whatever's going on, you know, I have a stressful job and stuff, and I'm quite an erratic, kind of uptight person. It's just that time in the gym, that's it. The whole world around me disappears, and it's just sets and plates. And so it's meditation. That's my escape. The phone goes off. No one can touch me. I said to my mum, I said, if you die, I won't know till after I train. I'm not trying to be an asshole, but my phone's not on me. No one can touch me. You know, and whether you think that's like mad or whatever, it's just like, that's my shut off. That's me time. It's selfish. It's for me, but it allows me to then operate on a higher level in the rest of my life.
Yeah, because when I was thinking about this earlier, I was thinking there's something about bodybuilding that's almost monk-like, how it affects every single area of your life. It's like, in order to be successful at it, every part of your life needs to be dedicated to it, right? Like your food, your sleep, and it doesn't matter how you're feeling. It's like for thousands of years, humans have been able to envision something beyond themselves that they want to strive towards. And these are people that already may have food and have shelter, and that's not enough to make them feel satisfied. They need that extra goal to strive towards. And I think the very nature of bodybuilding, I'm sure you can expand on this, is it really encapsulates a lot of the human experience, because you're not just choosing to work hard. You're not just choosing to endlessly repeat the same things again and again and again, but you're also choosing a lot of pain in there. There's like you're choosing to suffer for 60 or 90 minutes a day, or however long you train for. You can tell me, but it's like an interesting, like, that's what monks do. Monks choose to suffer. They deprive themselves of certain pleasures in order to achieve a higher state of consciousness or inner contentment. And there seems to be parallels between that and bodybuilding, or I guess high class athletes across all disciplines.
Yeah, I mean, but also if you think about that, the human state, as you said, that people have shelter and they have food, and at times in human nature that was enough for a lot of people, because actually the struggle to obtain those things and the completion of those things was deemed a great success. And now in today's society, more than ever, through Instagram and things, unrealistic expectations and stuff is, you know, you're looking for that extra thing. Now you're saying I choose a lot of pain to go and choose bodybuilding. But I think mental health are the people that are unlucky and don't find the thing that they want to expand and they want to follow, and they want to channel that energy to that survival instinct of finding food that's human nature and stuff, and they never find that energy to bring outwards. And then I think that's why people turn inwards. And so I think that the pain of what I do is nothing compared with the suffering of someone who doesn't have a thing, who doesn't have a passion, and turns all of that energy into themselves to analyze their flaws and their weaknesses when they compare themselves to, for example, what they see on social media, which is a sea of shit.
Yeah, so it's like you're consciously choosing suffering, but because the suffering is essentially leading you to a place of fulfillment, the suffering, it's not you're not choosing suffering in the sense that someone that's addicted to gambling or addicted to drugs or alcohol is choosing suffering because they're just going straight into an abyss. It's like you're choosing temporary suffering for a long-term feeling of fulfillment, which is a very different thing.
Yeah, so deferred gratification is probably the number one thing that you need to be successful at anything. Like you said, a gambler or a drug addict or an alcoholic, will usually turn to the instant relief. But I would say that training is addictive. And, for years I wasn't thinking about an end goal. I needed to train for me at that point. That was my gratification. But I had faith in the fact that if I went and did that enough, that something better would happen. That I was building just one brick in the wall, one at a time. But that wasn't in the forefront of my mind. I was just trying to get what I had inside and push it out. So it wasn't that dissimilar. There wasn't this great goal that I had when I first started. I needed to focus my energy, of which I had a lot, and give it to something else. So it wasn't as enlightened as it seems. Certainly not at the beginning. Later on, maybe. But I call it faith, and it's not a religious thing. It's the faith that if I go to the gym and I eat all my meals, that I will be a better version of myself in my field in a week, a month, a year, even a day, every day, a little bit better. One brick in the wall. I have a house at some point.
How far away are you from having your house, do you think?
Thing is, when you build a house, you want an extension, right?
Right. That's the thing, isn't it? And then that's when we go back to the state of mind of the gambler or the alcoholic. Although, as you've painted out very clearly, this is a far more fulfilling, healthy, life-affirming obsession to have. But like you say, you build your house, you want an extension. Like when are you just satisfied with enough? And that's the great question when it comes to chasing success or status or achievement or something outside of yourself. It's like you're never happy. And if you are happy, maybe you wouldn't ever go and lift another weight again. I don't know. I'm not sure. It may be the point at which you're satisfied is the point at which it all starts to fall apart. I mean, I
think that is true. That is true. You'll never be happy. This isn't a journey where one day you'll go, okay, I've killed it. Maybe people right at the very, very top, maybe they do, but maybe, probably only retrospectively. In everyone's mind, they can always be better as a bodybuilder. There's always, a lurk or balance. There's so many factors that go into like creating this perfect physique of extremism. It can always be more extreme. It can always be lower body fat. It can always be better proportion. There can always be bringing up it's never done. The work's never done. But what you're doing is you're taking your genetic capability and you're seeing how far it goes, and hopefully you have enough intellect to know when that's finished. I don't think mine's finished, but I certainly would hate to be, there's always a guy in the gym who's like 60 who tells you how they could have been great. And that's my biggest fear, is that I would be that guy in the gym telling someone I could have been this, I could have been that. No one on their deathbed regrets stuff they've done generally. I mean, I'm sure there is some, Nazi Germany's probably got a few. But most people regret the things they didn't do.
I'm very interested about the concept of just sheer consistency and repetition. And I think probably the reason that I'm interested in it is because I've always been someone that has had an eclectic range of interests in lots of different things, and has kind of like gone from one thing to another. And I've tried my hand at quite a few different things, but even now, I've probably not yet. I was consistent with wrestling, but it's not comparable to what you've done, I don't think. So I'm interested to know, like, what would you say that you learned? I mean, I know that's a bit of a glib question. It's a hard thing to answer, but I suppose there must be something character building about, for a decade, doing the same thing day in, day out, and how it affects every part of your life, your diet, your sleep, your obviously your training as well. Like, there's what do you think is the value in that? Because we hear again and again that humans do find a value in that. It's like, what is happening there, do you think?
Well, it's a transferable skill as far as I'm concerned. The things that I learned, bodybuilding, the discipline, and the planning and the regimenting or whatever, allowed me to go from a kid that left school at 14, went to a fucking special school that was told that he was a scumbag, never be anything, to then getting 2 degrees, a master's in education, and becoming a teacher. So the structure that bodybuilding gave me, with the physical outlet to take care of that side of my mentality, allowed me to structure the rest of my life in a way that I was able to achieve academic success in a way that no one thought I was going to be able to. So fuck you to all of them, obviously. But bodybuilding and discipline, it's the same with martial arts. I think it's the same as military service. You learn to structure your life in a way where you're accountable for everything, and work efficiently. That's how I'm able to be a bodybuilder at the level I am and be a teacher, because I'm efficient, and that takes great planning. I can't just leave the house. I have to pack my meals before they leave the house. I have to pick the chicken and rice and stuff. But that's so ingrained in my life that I've already done it before I thought about it. When I wake up in the morning, like I wake up like on the way to work, and I've already packed 4 meals. It's not, these are unnegotiable elements of my life. They're not up for discussion. They don't not happen. I've been doing it so long that it's just not, it's not a discussion. I can't explain it.
I love what you said about accountability as well.
These are unnegotiable elements. And that doesn't mean that I can't have a life on top. Of course I can. But these things are unnegotiable. I can go, like, if restaurants were open or whatever, I can go and have a restaurant meal. I just have to order 2 mains. But I can go and do that. When contest season's around, obviously I can't. But normal, I have a strict diet that I follow. But 2 times a week I can go and do what I want, and sometimes I feel like it and sometimes I don't. But I only break my diet for social events, to spend time with people that I enjoy, which is only like 3 people.
Let's talk about your diet. I'm sure over the years you are probably bored. I imagine all these people that aren't into bodybuilding, such as myself, are constantly quizzing you about your diet, because it seems like the most fascinating thing in the world. So in that sense, I have to apologize, but it is fascinating for us average people. I mean, I was listening to a podcast with you the other day, and I think that you said that you eat 7,000 calories a day. I have 2,000, and is 7,000 a regular thing, or does it often go to more than that?
I mean, it depends on your weight. So obviously, I'm quite a large human. Like, I know some other bodybuilders that are bigger than me, taller than me, and they push into 8,000. Eating lots of food off season because of my relationship with food that doesn't exist. I see no joy in food, really. Like,
so you don't like food? Are you one of these people that doesn't actually really enjoy eating, or is it just that you've fallen out? Have you fallen out of love with it through bodybuilding? Or
I never loved food.
Right. Okay, that's fascinating. I find I've done 3 podcasts so far, and 2 of my guests, you being one and my friend Darren being the other one, both hate food, and I've never been interested in food. That's just mind blowing to me, especially seeing as you have to eat 7,000 calories a day.
Yeah, I mean, on one side of it, it's a blessing because I'm not constantly craving shit that I don't need to eat. I mean, there's no shit in my house anyway, so I don't need to. What's Ellis say? Yeah, there is.
I have loads of chocolate.
All right, Ellis has a chocolate bin, but sometimes she eats some of it and like cries, but
So does Alice find it more difficult because she's well into her bodybuilding,
because
but
she's a
she likes
woman.
food?
That's why, because females have hormones, and hormones fuck people up. So I think dieting for females is much harder. We don't have a monthly cycle that makes us a
Right.
nut job. We don't have these hormonal pools, and I don't know any woman who doesn't struggle to eat 15 kilos of chocolate every day. Really, you know, there's much more hormonally going on for females. But not having a relationship with food, just it being fuel from being very young. You know, I liked to eat cakes when I was a kid and stuff but well, you know, left to my own devices, I wouldn't eat. And left to my own devices now, if I just ate when I was hungry, I'd weigh about 13 stone, which helps me in what I do. But also when I'm eating 7,000 plus calories, I'm eating the food thinking, is this the mouthful that's going to make me throw up?
So is that a regular thing, throwing up from eating too much?
I'm not, I know, but
You feel sick all the time.
I have done a couple of times.
Yeah.
There's sometimes when the body just at the end of the day just says nah.
Yeah. So what does talk me through a day of eating when you're building up to a competition? How does it like breakfast, lunch, dinner?
Building up to a competition is bringing everything down. So
of course. Okay.
You bring all your calories down. So you know, but even like when I'm like really, really low on food, for me, I'm eating 3,000 calories a day. So for everyone else, it's like, wow, that's fucking loads. But to me, I'm starving. Like I'm talking about not sleeping because my body is telling me to wake up and find food. Like not sleeping, just staring at the wall, like fucked, like a zombie. So 3,000 to a normal person is cool, but my body just existing burns way more than 3,000 calories, even if I was just sat on the sofa through heat transference. Most of it.
You probably burn my body weight in a single day just sitting on the sofa. Yeah, exactly. Probably if I was within you, I'd just evaporate.
Well, even now, I wake up 7 pounds lighter than when I went to bed. Like that's an everyday fucking thing. I don't know where it goes. Maybe it's my soul leaving.
I find that strange as well because I get into quite bad habits of like weighing myself every morning. I don't think it's good to weigh yourself every
once
morning.
A week.
Well, yeah, once a week. Is that what you do? Yeah.
Once a week on a Saturday before I've eaten anything. If I'm bulking, I try and hold in a poo.
Yeah. But I don't understand where the weight goes overnight. I always find it really confusing. I lose like sometimes a whole kilo between when I go to bed and when I get up.
Yeah, I can lose anything between like 4 and 10 pounds in a day in a night time.
Wow.
Sometimes just in sweat.
So when you're cutting,
so I think if you want me to tell you a full day of eating.
Yeah, sorry, mate. I know you probably aren't interested in doing it, but
when I'm getting big.
When you're getting big.
So I have like 250 grams of egg whites, which is probably like 8 or 10 egg whites, and then I have 2 scoops of whey protein, 75 grams of oats, 75 grams of ground rice, 50 grams of peanut butter, and 50 grams of honey. So that's meal 1. And then it's like meal 2 is like 2 tins of tuna, and then 100 grams of dry weight rice, and then 50 grams of peanut butter. Again, lunch is like cooked weight, like 210 grams of chicken, 100 grams of white rice raw weight, which is like one of those microwave packs, like one microwave pack for those that eat those. And then it's like steak and half a kilo of potatoes.
Half a kilo.
Yeah.
And how many meals are we on now? Where this is like your 5th meal of the day, is it?
I think that's 4 now. I've kind of like 1, 2, 3, 4. And then it's like prawns. So I eat like 300 grams of prawns, 100 grams of white rice. And I've like lost count now. So it was like eggs and stuff, tuna, like chicken, prawns, steak. And I am after workout, then I'll have like 150 grams of ground rice and 2 scoops of whey protein, 50 grams of honey again. And whilst I train, I drink a drink that's pure like sugar, basically, like called cyclic dextrin with essential amino acids. So it's like 150 grams of carbs whilst I'm training. And that's kind of it. And then as we go into the show, we just kind of remove the carbs and the fats and keep the protein high, and then introduce cardio in the morning on top of the weights regime.
So that's what, 6 extremely large meals a day, is it?
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I think that's at the moment. I don't think I'm quite topping what I usually eat. The idea is obviously you push your weight really high, and every time you hit that weight, every time you hit a new weight, the food to get there is really hard. But once you've gone to a certain weight, like I don't really want to ever get over to like 22.5 stone. Like I just wanted to get there so that when I sit at 21 stone, it feels normal. So now I'm hitting weights, body weights on less food, and I feel more normal. But I mean, normal is one thing, like I get out of breath. I have sleep apnea. So I sleep with a CPAP machine, which is a breathing machine. Otherwise I suffocate up to 50 times an hour.
And why is that? Does that relate to how big you've got?
Well, sleep apnea is a genetic thing, but it's certainly impacted by being overweight.
Okay.
So those of you who snore lots, it's basically the extreme part of snoring. So you snore, but then it blocks. So it blocks your throat. And so that's what happens to me. Usually people only get it when they sleep on their back, but I get it sleeping on my side or anything. So I was just fucked. So
do you feel healthy?
No.
You don't?
No.
And how does have you noticed yourself feeling less healthy as the years have gone by, as you've got bigger?
Yeah.
And how do you feel?
Pretty shit most of the time. Yeah.
Is it fatigued?
Yeah, like I'm knackered, and I'm not a good sleeper anyway because I chase dreams. There's phases in your life when you get injured, you're taking pain medication to get through what you're doing, and that's quite a battle to come off some of those pain meds as well. It's potentially quite a dark cycle to get into, if you go down the pain meds, and the sleeping meds and stuff that the doctors will give you. But then, you can look back and go, fucking hell, I'm hooked on Valium and opiates, like it's a bad thing to do. I found CBD was quite useful.
Yeah.
For sleep and magnesium.
Yeah, I take both CBD and magnesium. I'm a fellow bad sleeper. I always have been.
Yeah,
I go for patches.
Melatonin.
Yeah,
melatonin is another good one.
Yeah,
although I think it's controlled in the UK now. So no, I don't feel healthy at this weight. No, it's and actually I feel much worse when I'm eating lots of food than when I'm dieting. So if I'm like 6 weeks out from a competition at a lighter weight, say like 19 stone or something, or maybe I go down to 18, until I'm like a month out, I feel pretty good then, because there's a lot less strain. Your heart takes a lot of a beating, pumping blood around this fucking rig. It's not, I'm knackered.
Yeah, I suppose your internal organs don't know what's hit them.
Yeah, and also I'm smashing the shit out of the gym. I'm breaking down muscle tissue. Now, if you went and trained legs, you got some muscle on your legs, right?
Yeah. From cycling. Funnily enough, I had a leg session once or twice a week for 2 years, but nothing got my legs as big as cycling, like 200 miles a week for 2 or 3 years. They became absolutely just. I mean, maybe the argument is that I wasn't training the legs properly in those first couple of years. Perhaps if you had taken me through those training sessions in the first couple of years, I would have seen a greater leg growth than I did from when I was cycling. But cycling really just made my legs blow up.
Well, there's different types of proven different ways of growing legs, not legs, muscle, and some of them is endurance stuff, and that's slow twitch fibers, and then the fast twitch fibers are the ones that the bodybuilders are mostly kind of entering. And then without getting too sciencey, there's hypertrophy, and then there's sarcoplasmic hyperplasia, which is basically cellular splitting. So it's the idea that you can create more cellular mass through like the pump kind of thing. So anyway, that's a bit of a big subject for today. But what I'm saying is, if I'm going to break down a body part for me, I have the recovery involved in that compared with a normal person is much larger.
And when you say recovery specifically, what do you mean?
So when you train, you break down the muscle tissue, you tear it, micro tears. Yeah. So that's why you get a bigger muscle, because it's an adaptation to damage that you're giving your muscles. That's the stimulus. Now, if your body can already do 8 reps or whatever, you're unlikely to create that stimulus by doing the 8 reps. So it's constantly setting your bar higher than you can do and finding your limits, maybe training with a training partner to do assisted reps or negative reps. You have to force a change. Your body has to basically go, fuck, if I'm going to do that again, he's going to make me do that again. I better change. But ultimately, you're breaking down muscle. Yeah, you're breaking down muscle. You're damaging it. And so what you need to do after that is recover from it. And not just recover, but then grow on top. So, the rest and recuperation involved in that is huge.
So for myself, obviously, if I was to go down to the gym and do a chest session, I might feel some aches in my chest the next day. I might feel my biceps and my chest torn up a little bit. I stretch it out, eat some food, and hopefully within 48 hours, it feels fine. But what you're saying with yourself, because you're so much bigger and there's so much muscle there to tear and you lift such heavier weights, that the recovery process, in what way is it different? You have to consume more food or you need more rest? What's the difference?
Yeah, all of that.
Yeah.
So I need to eat more food to replenish glycogen initially, because glycogen is pushed out when training. And that's the carbohydrate storage in the muscle. And then obviously then you need to, flood the muscles with protein to build themselves again, with amino acids, which is the end product of the consumption of protein. But it's just like, if it's like with anything, if I had a quilt, and I had a small quilt and I slashed it, wouldn't take very long to fix, like if I had a big one, and like shredded it, it would take longer. So more muscle takes longer and it takes more calories. So like if I train legs on Monday, like my legs are fucked until Friday. So like the chance of me going to be able to go and train legs again within a 7-day period is 0. Because apart from anything else, is that it wouldn't be beneficial. That would be overtraining. Now, too many people think overtraining applies to them when they were a pussy. But I'm just saying, for me at my level, if you're there going, oh, maybe I'm overtraining, you're not. You'll know.
Yeah, right. You're probably going to know if you're overtraining. Feeling a little bit tired is not overtraining, I think. But I guess maybe it's just a confusion about what the word means, right? Because I think overtraining is almost like a very specific state that you get into, like a state of burnout, isn't it? A lot of people probably just think it means my muscles are aching a bit, I fancy a rest.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like with bodybuilding, you've got a teeter on the edge. So you don't want to push it too far, because that's detrimental as well, but you want to bring it right to the edge, but you don't want to fuck yourself up. You don't want to fuck yourself up.
So I've got a list of sort of miscellaneous questions that I wanted to ask you. I think I probably know the answer to some of them, but I'm just sort of interested.
Quick fire.
I've started doing press-ups recently. Now, when I say I've started doing press-ups, obviously I've been doing press-ups for years, but I've kind of fixated with the goal of being able to do 500 press-ups. And
without stopping.
Well, I don't know if it's realistic to do 500 press-ups without stopping.
No, I don't think it is. I don't know if I've ever seen someone do 500 press-ups.
I mean, you'd think that it's possible. Like you kind of have that image that you grow up with of people like Bruce Lee being able to do 500 press-ups or 1,000 squats or whatever it may be. But maybe doing 500 press-ups is unrealistic. I did 175 the other day, but I did stop. So it was like 20 here, 20 there. 50
oh no, the world record is 10,500.
Wow. Well, that's a very good segue into my question then, which is like, how big could someone get from just doing press-ups if they got their diet right?
I mean, there's many different factors, isn't there? How much do you weigh? The more you weigh, the more you're lifting.
Right.
And it's like, how many in one go? All of them is the answer. So it has to be what you can do and then some more, like if you go, if you've got a number that's outrageous, so great, which means that you're constantly trying to get to that number, which means that every time you try, hopefully you're adding 1 or 2 to this challenge, and that's the way. It's an overload, a consistent overload, or I can't remember what they fucking call it now. But the point is that the number one way to fuck it up is to keep doing what you're doing, expecting a different result. Now you're changing the variable by you're going for more each time. So how many press ups? All of them. Yeah, and then it's time. And then it's also like genetics. Like some people I know can just grow from just fucking anything.
It's funny. Your responses actually surprised me. I expected you to just immediately say, "No way, don't be ridiculous." But presumably, to look like yourself, you need weights involved. You couldn't look like yourself through.
I don't know anyone who's managed that on press ups yet.
No, or even body weight exercises in general.
The thing is, body weight exercises fall horrifically short when you consider the angles, and then when you then look at leg training, no,
not possible.
You have all these fucking women doing booty band classes and stuff like that, and that's cool because most people don't doing any exercise, and then they do some exercise and look better. That's cool, but you're not going to build a stage level physique doing something like that.
Okay. The other question was, can you fit in the bath?
If there's very, very little water, it's not getting in the bath. It's not the getting in the bath that's the problem, really. It's the getting out of the bath. I'm terrified of getting out of the bath.
Right, because if you tumble, you're coming down hard, right?
Mate, like even just falling from my height on my arm, I just think it would just fold into 1,000 pieces.
Right.
I'm not built for falling over. So yeah, I'm scared of the bath. I did look into the statistics of dying slipping in the bath, and they're pretty high as well, actually.
Right. Yeah. Well, household accidents, though, I think.
Yeah, I did some research on that. I was obviously having a bit of a weird day, or I was bored, and I just thought, fuck, I'm really scared in the bath. Like, maybe I'm being ridiculous, but I looked up and it's like, no, it's not that ridiculous. You could definitely die in the bath.
So you've got a justified fear of sitting in the bath.
Yeah, no, I can fit in the bath. I mean, there's different stages of bath fitting.
Yeah, because some baths are quite small, right? And like you can obviously fit in a jacuzzi, but
yeah, my bath is quite small. It's also got feet on it.
Right.
It's not like a floor stander, so I am worried that one of those will ping off, and then the pipe will snap, and then we'll empty the whole bath out. We could do without that. So I generally shy away from baths, if I'm honest.
Have you experienced like not being able to fit in any other places or breaking other things as a result of being too big, like certain small cars, or you couldn't fit in an EasyJet aeroplane seat, presumably?
I did get a really small plane to Belgium, which looked like a fucking chicken chaser. It had like visible props on it. And it has 2 seats one side and 1 seat the other. And getting down the aisle of that wasn't great. I'm not going to lie. Yeah, if I'm sat on an EasyJet flight, I make sure I get the aisle seat so I can hang off. Because God forbid I'm next to anyone. I could pray that the person next to you is a small person.
But you can fit into that seat, can you? Because in my head, you just can't get in.
Well, it's the legs that are the problem because it's the armrests, and it's can't really bring the armrest up and like touch a stranger. So like if I've got the aisle seat and then there's Alice, we can bring the armrest up and then I can kind of get some leg room. But yeah, it's the legs that are the problem. But no, not that big. That big.
Okay, fair enough. So here's another one. How many chickens could you eat in one sitting if you like tried your best to eat as many chickens as possible?
Mate, this is the thing. I'm shit at stuff like that. I've gone, like I get these messages like, "Oh fucking hell, you should come and do this eat challenge or whatever," and I'm like, no, I shouldn't. I'm shit at stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
There's a place in Bristol, and they're called I was on the Triangle. It's like a steak, like a smokehouse.
Yeah, what was it called? I know the place that you mean. And, I can't remember what it's called.
There's one in Bath as well.
Something smokehouse or. But yeah, who cares? It's like one of those. It's one of those like Alabama, like pulled pork.
Yeah, it's like brisket. Trying to be all like American kind of grill, slow roasty stuff. They had a first like a first like competition. And that wasn't like mad or whatever, but they took it off because I think it was just a promotional thing. But no, I'm shit at stuff like that.
But you can't be shit. You can't be shit.
I am shit.
You're probably not as good as you think you should be, but you must be better than the average person.
No, mate.
You reckon you can eat 2 chickens?
I'm gonna eat 2 chickens.
So if your life depended on it,
yeah, I could eat 4 chickens.
If the stakes were high, you could eat 4 chickens.
If it was a gun to my head, I reckon I'd have to up the game on mine. If I was going to feel the real limit, I reckon I'd do that. I mean, the thing is, after a competition, obviously, like, you're really dehydrated and you feel like shit. Like, so after a competition, like, you're supposed to, like, be sensible and stuff like that. I don't fucking do that. Then I've put in some food. So I remember it wasn't after the Universe because I felt so fucking ill. And actually, when I was in Amsterdam doing the IFBB competition after that, just nowhere was open. The show finished at like 11, and I didn't fancy getting any hookers or anything. And so, but the time before that, I thought I'd go and get a pizza. So when I ordered the pizza, I was so fucking like into buying the pizza. So I went to McDonald's and ate 3 Big Macs and 2 McFlurries waiting for the pizza. Then the pizza came, and then I ate the whole pizza. And then I came home and ate like 10 cookies and a tub of Ben and Jerry's. So, like, in the right mindset, I can do it. But I felt like shit after I'd done it. I felt like I was just like sweating. And it wasn't worth it for me. So I'd say, maybe 4. I could do 4 chickens.
I can't imagine, mate, because like I've been through my stages of getting a bit too into my junk food and my takeaways. Like I've used food as a form of addiction, like various times, just not looking after myself and just getting like a little bit fat. If I eat Chinese takeaway and I have like two mains, like crispy shredded beef and some like chicken sweet and sour balls, egg fried rice, can of Coke, I like hate myself afterwards. I feel like I don't stop eating until I hate myself, and then I feel nothing but shame and regret. So I'm just trying to imagine.
That's every woman ever. Like, that's how women feel.
The 22 stone equivalent of that, though.
Yeah, I mean, like for me, it's like if I managed to eat that much, I'd just like think like gains.
Right. Yeah.
I wouldn't feel any way about that. I mean, sometimes if I have a big cheat meal and I've had a rough week or whatever, I'll have a big cheat meal, then I'll skip my last meal so I can go to bed early just to try and catch up on some sleep, because you're riding that edge the whole time. And as someone who's not a good sleeper, that's probably the number one thing holding me back from progressing as much as I could, is my sleep. And also like a high octane, like stressful job, which is what I have. That plays a part as well, worrying about the students and things like that. It's quite a lot of pressure.
Like I said, I can really relate to your issues with sleep. It's been something that's plagued me my whole life. And I'm sure you can relate to the feeling that I've had so many times, which is on the rare occasion that I get a good night's sleep, I wake up the next day and I feel like I've got a superpower. And that superpower is literally just being well rested. And then I think to myself, hang on a minute, is this what normal people feel like every day, just well rested? And then I think what I could achieve in my life if I felt well rested all the time. And
I mean, that's it. But the thing is that you got the hand you're dealt, so you fucking suck it up and get on with it, right?
Right, no, 100%. But with bodybuilding, sleep's important, though, right? Sleep's like
that's
crucial.
The one thing is like that's the mentality thing, and so knowing that I've had shit sleep consistently is like, it's kind of undoing all the hard work. I got one of these things actually. Alice bought it for me for my birthday. It's called an Aura Ring, and I don't know if you can see inside it, but it's basically a sleep Fitbit.
Okay.
And so when I thought my sleep was like bad, anyway, she bought it for me so that I could just kind of prioritize my sleep. And my sleep was shit. Like it
tells you how long you spend in deep sleep and stuff like that, does it?
Yeah, I mean, but let's be honest. How the fuck does it know that?
Right. I also find that it's sort of depressing having one of those, because
exactly.
You don't want to know. You don't want to. No, you don't want to wake up.
I wake up and feel right, and then I look at the app, and my app would like give me advice, and the advice was always like, "Yeah, don't train, just fuck off," basically. Yeah. And I stopped wearing it, because even when I woke up and felt like okay, like at least my mentality was aligned, it would say like, have a rest. I was just like, fuck you. If I had a rest every time this fucking thing told me I have a rest, I'd never train again in my life.
Right,
So yeah, I sacked it off. It wasn't doing well for
yeah.
the psyche.
Something I wanted to ask that I forgot to ask when you were discussing it before. You said that when you get down to like, was it 18, 19 stone, that you feel quite light then, and you feel like healthier than usual.
Yeah.
If feeling healthy was your optimum goal at this point, what do you think now, having put on all this weight for all these years, what weight do you think you would need to drop to now to feel healthy and functioning?
Like to feel normal, like maybe 16 or 17.
Yeah, and you think that you'd feel normal at that weight?
Yeah, I think like that would be fairly easy for me. And I think, you know, even when I give up this game, which is probably in 5 years or something.
Yeah, I was going to ask that.
I'm still going to train. Like, I love training. I'm just not going to eat the food. I'm not going to try and like not die. You know, once the goal of competing is gone, the motivation to go through all this like stress and is you know, I can still have my outlet. You know, but who knows? Maybe when I've reached that point in my life, maybe it will all seem pointless, and I'll find another outlet. It'll have to be something physical, but you know, maybe something martial art just for the discipline, or something to engage with. I always have to have something physical because it settles my mind. The chemicals, the release for that sort of thing, settle my mind, and that's what all this was about.
Well, humans for so many tens of thousands of years, we were not programmed to be as sedentary as we are now, and our DNA thinks that we're still wandering around the savannah. That's why it's so easy to eat a tub of Ben and Jerry's and drink 2 liters of Coca-Cola, because in ancient times, if you stumbled across a fig tree, it would be advantageous to sit beneath that fig tree and eat every last fig before someone else comes and eats them to sustain you for longer.
The biggest shits ever.
Right.
The biggest fig shits ever.
But you say, yeah, you mentioned martial arts, like something that I'm interested in is to know, like, you're obviously absolutely massive, so in a physical confrontation, most people wouldn't stand a chance because you'd just be able to smother them. But what size martial artist do you think would be able to take you?
Mate, I mean, obviously I worked the doors for 7 years. It's the small ones.
Really?
Good. You better grab them fast, because they're going to be faster than you. I mean, you know, if someone started flinging down some proper fucking martial arts moves, I just hit them with the barriers. I'm not playing that fucking game. I can't lose. It's my job not to lose. I mean, I don't do that shit anymore, you know.
I know.
I'm not, you know, I'm not, you know, that's not me or whatever. But no, mate, a fucking boxer of any reasonable caliber will kick the shit out of me.
Do you think so? Because like, I think, all right, let's say there was a boxer my size, okay? Or even a boxer a few inches taller than me, right? And a little bit bigger. All right, maybe if he lands the punch, then he's got you. But presumably, you might be able to just smother him.
Oh, if I can get hold of him, then he's fucked, isn't he?
Well, right, yeah, that's what I mean.
I just apply enough pressure to just snap all his ribs, and like that's not going to be a difficult thing, or just break his hands in mine. But no, like if we were on the doors and there was some handy smaller guys, they were way more of a problem than big brawlers. Way more. Yeah, really? Yeah.
Because they can kind of duck and dive and get around you a little bit.
Someone was a bit ducky-divey, like that was a big problem for a big guy, because I can't move like that. I can't
catch you.
No, you know, unless I can grab them, like I'm pretty much fucked in that situation. You know, but if someone fucking starts doing Spider-Man jiu-jitsu on you, I'm fucked again anyway. So, no, like size has zero advantage to winning a fight, you know.
Do you think so?
Like that's why there's weight categories like in the UFC. It's not just to protect the smaller guys from the big guys. It's to even out the speed ratio as well. Like, right. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know fuck all about fighting, but yeah, I'm not up for fighting anyone trained in anything like that. I'm not up for fighting anyone anyway.
No, of course. Yeah. It's just not every day that you speak to someone who's like got such a size advantage. I'm just interested to know, like,
yeah, I think like working the door and stuff, it's good to just look a certain way as a preventative measure. You know, for most people, I mean, you know, loads of times people want to take out the big guy. You know, not loads of times. It's rarer But you know, if you're a door team and you're all, you know, over 6 foot and massive, people like, I'm going to lose face just going, well, maybe let's not fight them. And so it can work in your favor, um, because no one on the door wants to have a fight. You're getting paid fuck all, man. Like, do you know what I mean? If you like, if you get paid to fight, you should be getting paid much more. You know, you just want an easy time. Stand there, like no doorman's looking to get scrapped up. It's fucking bullshit. And if you are, you're a cunt. You should be on a fucking different job.
All right. Well, I think we've covered a lot. There's so much more we could talk about, but I think I think this has been a really good chat. I've really enjoyed it. I would ask a couple of questions before we finish. Like, what would you say is the biggest moment of pride for you personally in your career so far?
My biggest life achievement is my PGCE.
In that's your qualifications to teach music.
Yeah, just my qualification as a teacher means that I did a level 8. So I did a master's level dissertation. I did a research project. That's my biggest achievement in my life still, which is a shame because actually at the moment it looks like I'm getting made redundant with the rest of my team. So it looks like my career is coming to an end. I mean, COVID's all fucked everyone in different ways. But that's my greatest achievement because it was so far out of my skill set, you know, to write that level. I never did English. I never understood punctuation, let alone an academic subject, to then assess people's punctuation, you know, like, so that's my greatest achievement of my life, you know, but that's a stamp on my life. And if I am made redundant and teaching moves into a different way, then maybe I'll have another one of those moments in the future that I can look back at. As far as bodybuilding, it's an ongoing thing. Again, I just have faith that if I put another brick in the wall, my house will be bigger. You know, and so I think that I'd have to have my whole bodybuilding career finished for me to be able to reflect, because you're only as good as your last show. And so hopefully every year, every time I compete, I can be better. And if I come back 1 year and it starts to slip and I start looking worse, I hope I have, you know, I hope I'm honest enough with myself to be able to call it a day.
Good man. And I'm sorry to hear about you and your team being made redundant as well.
Hey,
but
life throws curveballs at everyone, you know, like, doesn't matter how much work you put into something. Some things are, you know, you can't control what's going on all the time. And, you know, COVID has fucked people way harder than that. So people have lost people. You know, if I'm going to lose my job, you know, I'm not going to sit here and whinge about it when other people have lost loved ones.
Yeah, good for you. All right. Well, like I say, we've barely scratched the surface in my list of questions, but I'll save some of my miscellaneous questions for next time.
I can chat some shit, man. That's what I can do.
Before we go, where can people find you? And give a shout out to your podcast and your Instagram and stuff like that if you want.
So if you want to hit me up on Instagram, God, this is something I thought I'd heard. Fuck Instagram. But anyway, if you want to look at a man in pants, Big Pale Nasty is my, like, what do they call it? A handle?
Yeah,
a handle.
And I'll link it below as well.
Link below.
Link below. And your podcast, I noticed you're 25 subs off 1,000 as well, so that's good effort.
Yeah, so the podcast is Bash Bros Podcast, and if you want to, we've had some amazing guests like international champions, Mr. Olympias. We've had top trainers. We've had doctors. We've had life coaches. We've had a huge array of stuff, all centered around bodybuilding, but with a kind of a mental health underlying that was the startup. And then it evolved because I didn't initially start the podcast. I came on afterwards and I chatted a load of shit and stuff. People thought it was funny.
Keith Lemon of bodybuilding, I heard.
That's what I said. Yeah, Keith Lemon of bodybuilding. So yeah, go and check that out if you're interested in bodybuilding and just stuff. It's actually not a lot about bodybuilding. Like, we just shoot the shit, you know. It's just people that are into bodybuilding talking about normal stuff. Some of it's more specific. But anyway, go and check that out. Big up to anyone who has found their thing. You know, you're lucky if you found a thing. Like, grab that shit with both hands. You know, and if you're someone wondering what that thing is, just keep fucking looking, man. Like, you know, don't turn that energy inside. There's something for everyone. Go and find it and go and engage with it and just start tomorrow. Do you know what I mean? Like, things don't happen overnight, but have faith. You lay that brick. It's cheesy as fuck. But please go and find that thing, man. It'll set you free.
Good man. Wise words. Perfect way to finish. I've absolutely loved talking to you, mate. Thanks a lot.
Thanks for having me, man. We'll take it
Cool.
easy.
Take it easy, mate. I'll talk to you in a bit.